Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome again to another episode of this podcast. Well, the question today is, can I forgive you when you broke me? Woo, that's a good one. How many of you out there are finding it difficult to forgive? We're all broken people, right? We can admit to that. We've all been broken. We've all been betrayed, used, abused, and you name it. The question is, can you forgive when you have been broken? That's a tough one. That is a tough one. And before you quickly start pulling out the religious card saying, duh, everybody's supposed to forgive. The Bible tells you ought to forgive 70 times 7 in a day. Well, yeah, true. But let's be real. There are some situations we find ourselves in. It's not easy. It's not easy. People will do us things that will make us get angry. Am I talking to you? Make us get angry. And there are just some sins that are unforgivable, sort of, if you know what I'm saying. Kind of. You ought to always forgive, but there's some situations that will break you. So let's kind of walk through them and see if we can bring some balance here and give you a chance to vent and let out all the tension that's there and find some common ground to redeeming yourself so that you can forgive. So I think all of us get to that place where we've been bitten by this sin of unforgiveness. What happens when someone does something that it is hard to forgive? How do you process that? And when is it appropriate for you to forgive, especially when you are finding it hard to let go of the pain? Let go of the pain. And I know I'm talking to some of you right now. The pain is just unbearable. It's like whatever they did got deep into your soul. And yeah, you know you're a Christian, but that one area of your life, you're like, God, I need deliverance from this area, because I believe forgiveness is a must. It is a must. You have to forgive. You will never have total fulfillment in life if you do not forgive. I've said it over and over. Forgiveness is really not about the other person. Forgiveness is about you freeing yourself. Because as long as you hold things, in your heart and unwilling to release that person out of your heart, man, you're holding up your progress. You are literally holding up your progress when you don't find it in your heart to forgive. There are several things we can't let go of that creates this spirit of unforgiveness in us. Let's go through them and let's have a conversation. So chill, sit around the table. That's it. Stay in the car, but don't leave yet. This is good. Let's talk about betrayal for a moment. The betrayal. Woo, betrayal. That person who you trusted, that person who you have given your all to, and man, they stabbed you in the back. And you didn't deserve it. You opened up your heart, your life. You literally took a plunge to trust them. And now this guy Henry's coming on this podcast telling you to forgive. And you're like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that, because sometimes the damages that the other person will cause in your life sometimes will permanently leave a mark. Some of you are still walking around with some scars. It's never going to go away. Do not let anybody fool you to tell you you can just abracadabra and get rid of some of these issues. No, some of them will be there forever. There are some betrayals to the day you die. It's going to be in your history. But that doesn't prevent you from forgiving that person. You have to forgive. Forgiveness is a must, even though you are broken. You have to forgive even in your brokenness. And I know that's hard. You see, watch this. It is your willingness to step forward to say, okay, I'm willing, God. I can't do this by myself, but teach me how to forgive. I'm willing. I'll take it one step at a time. It is that willingness that will provide to you healing in your brokenness. The longer you drag this thing out, the longer you become bitter and the longer you hold it against the person, the longer you talk about it over and over and allow your mind to play tricks on you and to replay the events. As long as you keep doing that, you'll forever be broken. You'll forever be broken. But it's when you say, you know what, I got to get rid of this. And I just want to talk to those of you, man, who are out there who are just kind of just blocking your progress in life. God's got so much for you, man. Wake up, man. There's just some things you ought to just forgive. The betrayal was tough. It was difficult. Some of you have been in relationships and a lot of betrayals. Some of you, your children betrayed you. Your parents betrayed you. Your siblings betrayed you. Co-workers betrayed you. Employees betrayed you. Neighbors betrayed you. You know it. Ministers betrayed you. Church members betrayed you. Business associates, politicians betrayed you. I mean, we've all been betrayed. So, okay, it happened. What are you going to do? Are you going to, listen, if you're walking home, I'm using this analogy. If you're walking home, you got a mile left to go home. You got a mile left to go home. And the rain is coming, all right? And my goodness, you know, you're like, okay, fine, I can't get wet. It's lightning. There's a lot of thunder and so forth. And you see it like a covering. You can go and take shelter. All right, you're going to do that, right? Because it's the right thing to do. You know, your destination is home. You're a mile away from home. So you stop at this covering. Are you going to just stay there permanently forever, complaining about, well, you know, it was raining 2 hours ago. My goodness, it rained yesterday. And just talk about the bad rain, the bad weather, and the lightning, and just keep saying those things? Are you going to say when it's safe, when it's time to get from all under that shelter, that you're going to now continue your pathway home? The same is with your life. There has to be a moment in your life that you make the decision. It's time for me to come under this covering of bitterness and hurt and brokenness and continue my journey to wholeness. That's it. Because listen, you're too beautiful. You're too attractive. You're too handsome to allow, watch this, a rest stop, a shelter, to prevent you from becoming all that God has ordained you to be. All because of unforgiveness. So yes, you can forgive in your brokenness, because I think your healing is a direct result of your vulnerability. Yes, it's when you're vulnerable. It's when you say, okay, God, let me breathe. Let me try to get this out of my system. Let me get it out of my system, God. Let me just get it out. I got to release myself. It's you have to be willing to do that. You have to. So when there's betrayal, you have to tell yourself, I am going to forgive. Now, To forgive a person doesn't mean that you ought to befriend that person or even allow that person another opportunity to betray you. We're not stupid. We're not stupid, right? Because, some people like, forgive me, man, forgive. No, okay, I did, but that's it. That's it. Don't mean that we ought to be friends. I love you from a distance. You know what? I've been healed from that. But that's it. You don't get a second chance. Are you hearing me? You see, when you fail to forgive, you're actually giving that person second, third, fourth, fifth. You're giving them many chances to control you and to have power over you. This is going to help you, man. This is what you need. Forget all the stuff some people telling you, these little baby principle steps to forgiveness and all that kind of a stuff. You tried it. Somebody's going to be mad with me. You've tried fasting 40 days. Listen, quit the fasting. Just go eat your chicken ribs and listen and burp and thank God for it and bless it and do what is right. Just forgive. You don't need to be going to do all these spiritual rituals and so forth, trying to spiritualize everything. You are broken and you just need to sometimes just scream out to God. Go in your bedroom, scream, God, it's me. I hate it. I hate her. I hate him. God, I hate them. And just get out your system. And once you get out your system and just say, now, God, okay, work on me because I can't do this by myself because, God, I want them to be punished. I want to see them suffer. Come on, let's be honest. So, God, work on me. They betrayed me. Work on me. Give me your heart. Ask God for his heart. That's why David said, create in me a clean heart. Clean heart. And I'm not sitting up in here and telling you that it's an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to have God's heart. David was a man after God's own heart, but he had some issues, man. He had to get his act together. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Saul was out to kill him, and how do you forgive somebody whose intention is to murder you? And there's some people like that in your life. What they did to you, it wasn't something they stumbled on. They purposely did it, intentionally did it. They did it to screw you. They did it to upset you. They did it to create harm in your life. And that hurts. That betrayal hurts, especially when you trusted them. But you got to forgive. You don't have an option. You got to forgive. What about lies? Has anybody ever told a lie on you? Ooh, that's horrible. I don't know, some of you just having a flashback now. Lies. I have come to know that there's some people that they're just good at lying. Oh, there's some people, they lie so much that they lie for no reason. You didn't ask them nothing. They just come to you. I mean, there's some people that call you up. Hey, how you doing, girl? And you say, I'm doing fine. Child, listen, I just went to Bermuda. That's why I didn't hear from me for the last 7 days. I was vacationing in Bermuda. Come to find out it's a lie, and you're like, I never asked you about where you were going, what you were doing. You weren't in no trouble. I could understand if a person trying to lie to get themselves out of trouble, which you still shouldn't do. Don't lie, period. But to lie for no reason, there's some people who do that. I mean, they just lie. And then some people intentionally lie with the purpose to create harm. So when people lie on you, they lie on you on the job, and they said something to your boss that was a total lie, or your boss did it and you know it was a total lie. Those things hurt. Those things hurt, my friends. So it's hard to forgive. Yes, I know, when someone blatantly lie on you. But you know what? As a person of faith, that's something you just got to deal with. It's all about how you relate to people. Remember, I've been telling you this. You are commanded as a believer to love everybody, but you're not commanded to befriend everybody. And sometimes I think you mix it up and you try to mix both. Okay, just because I love you don't mean that I ought to trust you and let you, come on, blindside me with something. I love you because I have to love you. God knows I have to love you, but I ain't stupid, because you're not going to lie on me again. And some people, no matter what you do, they're just going to lie, just zip your mouth. One of the things that I've learned in life, is when people are talking, and some people are good at this. And the reason why they do it, they lie because they want to get their information out ahead of you, so that people who have limited information, just their side, can then side with them or agree with them. And this is where I want to talk to those of you out there. Listen, the Bible says, in all thy getting, you ought to get understanding. That's getting your intelligence in order. Be an intellectual person, a person with sound mind and judgment. I had to learn this over the years, that every information that comes to me, you have to process it. Don't believe everything. Don't believe everything. Don't. There's some people, what they tell you, it sounds truthful and so forth, but it's a lie. It's fabricated. And you know what? I have to tell you, there's some people, they lie so much that they honestly don't know the difference between truth and a lie. They don't. You look them in the eye and it's like nothing to them. And that's sad. That's sad when a person can get to that state, when your own conscience don't deal with you, when you can't even recognize, wait a minute, there's no truth to that. And sadly, our country is so prevalent with that today, where lie has become such truth. It's like it's become the norm now. And that's unacceptable, especially for us people of faith. It's unacceptable. The lie you spoke yesterday have nothing to do with the lie you spoke today. Both are lies and must be dealt with separately. I'm not going to give you an excuse for today's lie over what you did yesterday and the lies you told yesterday. No, ain't got nothing to do. Yesterday was a lie, today is a lie. And we judge you accordingly. Think about that for a moment. But you have to forgive. Because I'm telling you, and you need to be truthful to yourself, and some of you will agree with me, man. There are just some things that people have done to us that, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. I'm coming up from the rough side of the mountain, and I'm doing my best to forgive. That's true. Because, man, it hurts when people lie on you. It's hard to forgive them when people hurt you. And there are some cases, I got to be honest with you, it is difficult to forgive. Difficult to forgive. You all religious people, I get it. You got it. You're robots. You got it. Man, somebody rub you the wrong way, and I'll forgive. We must forgive. And listen, there's sometimes, I'm not preaching now telling people they should not forgive. So don't you be walking away with your false report. What I'm telling you, there are just some things, man. And can I just be honest? Even me as a preacher, man, there are times, man, I have to catch myself, man. I have to catch myself, man, because some things hit you to the core, and it'll make you cuss, man. Oh God, I can't believe he said that. I didn't tell you I cursed, but I can't tell you how many times. And you say, oh, I can't believe that. As a man of God, your mind should be so clean. That should have never been a thought ever in your mind to curse. I told you I didn't. And you better stop your lying self. And don't you listen to this and watch this and tell me you have never gotten to a place where something get to you and you have to get your Jesus. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Like in the case of this situation that just took place in America with George Floyd. Don't tell me. That thing hit me. I watched that video of that police officer with his knee on that black man, that African-American man, a human being. And I watched that police officer when the guy was begging and the officer was saying, get up, go in the van, go in the van. And the guy saying, I can't. I was sitting there and I watched it. I mean, if you wanted the guy to go into the van, then take your knee off the man's neck. That one, do you feel me? That's what I'm talking about. So I understand you, sister, when your boyfriend or your husband does something, it's not easy. This I'm struggling with. Struggling with this police officer putting his foot, and the man is telling him, I can't breathe. Having one hand in his pocket while his foot, his knee is with force on the man's neck. And the other three officers stood there. This other officer stood there arguing with the pedestrians and the people who were watching, videotaping it, and said nothing. That could be my son. And I know what some of you people, religious fools, I have to call you. I know what some of you are going to think and say, well, you have no idea. And if you're Caucasian and any other race, and you don't fool with me today. Don't try that. Do not try that. Don't tell me, well, you don't know what this man did and he stole listen, if the man even stole something out of the shop, there is a dignified way to execute the law. As far as I know, there's nothing so far that shows that this fellow was doing anything to threaten the life of the police officers. 4 of them against this one African-American man. And they stood there and murdered that man. That right there, I don't care how religious you are. If you have any God in you, black, white, Indian, Asian, whomever you are, that should bother you. And that should create something in you that will tick you off to make you say, can I forgive? Can I forgive? That's just an example. That is just an example. Can you imagine the amount of people that have been murdered by police officers years ago when we did not have technology? Can you imagine the amount of hidden stuff that was done that technology did not capture years ago, that people are in the grave at the hands of murderers walking around free? Come on, how do you forgive? How do you forgive? Think about that. It's a must. How do you forgive the constant, blatant, evil act of this country and people in this country who fail to recognize that racism, classism, and slavery was dead wrong? Dead wrong. Dead wrong. The Holocaust, anything that suppressed another race was dead wrong. And this nation was birthed out of that, was birthed out of evil. Drop mic. Check your history. Birth out of coming, taking what's there, what's not theirs from day one. And you telling me that that doesn't hurt? It hurts. It hurts. But you have to. At the end of the day, as hurt as I am, as angry as I am, I have to put myself in check. And that's the message I'm trying to get you. Some of you have been hurt by people. Some of you, it's your ex. Some of you, it is an ex relationship. You've been hurt, but you have to find it within yourself to be great, to forgive, and to recognize that the forgiveness is not about you. It is about the other person. And it continues, because I tell you what, as long as you live, people will always do you wrong and will always betray you, always lie on you, always hurt you. And the stuff we saw on television with George Floyd will constantly happen every single day until Jesus' return. So my friends, find it in your heart. Please forgive. Share this with someone, tell them about it, and let's have another discussion on another podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.